Today, we're going to teach you about making money with digital assets. And we got a major show today. We got to talk about the new crypto ETFs. I thought there's a government shutdown. Now we're starting to see a Solana ETF, an HBAR ETF, even Litecoin. So what is going on? We have the details about that. We got to talk about alt season. I found something in the charts that nobody's talking about. And also, we got to chart Solana. I'm also pulling up some ancient trend lines on Solana. I'm talking about trend lines that I discovered years ago that are coming into effect today, that you zoom out and you're starting to see a lot of confluence around Solana. So what is going to be the next move with Solana? And yes, we did skip the crypto. Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Let us know if you like it, you don't like it. I'm interested to see what you guys think on that. Now, first thing we need to do, though, is look at Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin on TradingView. Let's see what we're talking about on some of these smaller time frames, some of these larger time frames. This is Bitcoin well zoomed out here, that we're pointing out just some of the stuff with the cycles here. But when you zoom in on the 4 hours, you're starting to see another story regarding Bitcoin. You're seeing Bitcoin, saw people talking about this, moving above some of these moving averages on the 4 hour. I want to say this is going to be the 50. So 54-hour candles is going to be this green one. Then we have the longer term one right here. And Bitcoin holding well. It's holding on to a little bit of strength here, kind of trading in the same little range. We go to the 5 minute, you can see, Bitcoin on a nice little pump this morning. We found a little bit of a bottom around 2 a.m. While America was sleeping, Bitcoin was dumping. And then you can start to see, some of these European markets, maybe the late people in Asia, the night owls out there starting to bid up Bitcoin. And Bitcoin on a nice little tear. This started around 8 a.m. this morning. And just kind of looking at the pump there, pumped about $2,000. And let's just look at the rest of the crypto market. What is going on with altcoins? What is going on with Bitcoin here? We want to hit refresh. We're going to talk about crypto.com. We're going to talk about that prediction market. We're going to answer the question, is Trump Satoshi? We joked about that yesterday on Kalshi, but it does look like it's actually on Polymarket. You can literally bet, is Donald Trump Satoshi? Is Donald Trump Satoshi? I think the answer is pretty clear on that one. We're going to talk about Link. We are going to talk about XRP as well. And the best crypto asset is not Bitcoin. Are you saying the best crypto asset is DZ? I would agree with that assessment, but I might be a little bit biased there. I'm getting texts by the family members. It's like, all right, tell me you don't watch the show without telling me you don't watch the show. You're texting me during the show. I know you don't watch the show. Talking to you, Todd. All right, let's look at the crypto markets here. I'm going to send them that clip now. Bitcoin is up 0.8%. We see ETH is, largely flat here, almost as flat as a stable coin. It is only up 0.1%. XRP is a little bit of a pump, but major news with Solana, huge news with Solana. Despite the shutdown, we have the details. It's only up 1.4%. But hey, we'll take a pump. A pump is a pump. Dogecoin flat for the last 1 hour, flat for the last 24 hours. Surprising to see a meme coin with not a lot of movement, and we see Cardano inking in a little bit of a game. But then figure Haylock. This coin has been all over the place. You see, kind of broke its dollar peg here, fell all the way down to 20 cents. I would hate to be holding something, it's going to stay $1. It's going to stay $1, and then boom, there's people that panic sold this at 20 cents. I would not be chasing this at $1.36. Maybe I can look into that a little bit later on today. But weird stuff going on with that one there. But when we look at the big gainers, besides that, Trump, we're going to talk about Trump. They're trying to ban him from trading crypto. Talking about Ro Khanna from California. I have maybe Ro Khanna needs to get DZ'd, everybody. I haven't DZ'd anybody in a while. HBAR, though. HBAR, smaller market cap. Looks like we're going to see an ETF today as well as Litecoin. And with the smaller market cap, you can see it has a huge pump. HBAR with a 13.7% pump. Trump kind of pumping maybe off of this prediction market news. Truth Social is about to have, let's just say, a lot more upgrades, a lot more features. Are people going to use Truth Social? No, I'm not going to use Truth Social. But hey, they're going to have a prediction market. And Tau with a huge 52% pump. I don't have the channel pulled up with me, but we called Tau not that long ago. We called some AI moves, and we also Crow with a nice little move here, partnering with Trump, probably going to help your bottom line there, at least for the next 3 years, maybe even a little bit more if you include the January inauguration there. Zcash, I almost top blasted Zcash yesterday. You guys talked me out of it. You said, do not top blast. Don't buy the green candle. Don't grab the wick there. Well, I grabbed the wick and I got rewarded. I grabbed the wick again. I just kept getting rewarded. There's enough liquidity there, if you know what I'm saying. But the third time I held off. I didn't grab the wick. I didn't try to chase that pump. And it is now down 7%. So I want to thank the Disco fam. You are the smartest chat. When I ask some questions, when you do answer, hey, looks like the hive mind gets it together here. Just buy Monero. I'm going to talk about Monero. We got some startling Monero facts. Monero and Zcash. Looking at ancient price lists. Where was Monero? Where was Zcash when Bitcoin was trading, say, a lot less than it was today, a mere fraction, pennies on the dollar? Should be called. Okay, I didn't know where that one was going, but that was pretty funny there. I was mining 4 years ago. I remember mining 4 years ago. I was mining, God, what was I mining? Bad stuff, crappy stuff. I remember when ETH kind of upgraded how you have to mine that. Raven coin. I think the last thing I was mining was Raven coin. That tells you anything. But let's talk about Solana. I know there's a lot of people, you don't talk about Solana enough. Well, here we have Solana charts. We got the Solana news. We got the full breakdown. So smash that like buttons, everybody. I haven't asked you. It's only been 7 minutes. I waited 7 minutes. If you could smash that like button, if you get some more likes, maybe I will mention Cardano. Okay. All right. Wish I would have bought more HBAR. Well, it dumped a lot after the pump there. Let's go ahead and just look at HBAR. If you look at the Trump pump, November 2024, HBAR had a fantastic move. It pump basically harder than all of its peers there. Let's go to the weekly. I mean, this was like a Cardano size move. HBAR, Cardano, those were some of the coins with the largest gains there. You can see that Trump pump played out. It played out beautifully. There are a lot of people shorting it after that. And so we had to wick a little bit higher and wreck all the shorts. But if, say, you jumped in at the top, I mean, you might be down 50%. And if you panic sold the bottom there, you're down 75%. But now it might be time for HBAR to turn around. Well, let's first talk about Solana. Then we'll talk about HBAR. Barbarians in the chat, let me know if you are a barbarian like Conan or Arnold. Arnold. All right. B Sol is the Bitwise Solana staking ETF. It starts trading today. This is a post from last night. This is around 6 p.m. last night. So the first U.S. exchange-traded product to have 100% direct exposure to spot Solana. It's maximizing. Now, this is Solana's 7% average staking reward rate. So they're going to try to maximize this 7% staking reward. That doesn't mean you get 7%, but they're going to try to maximize that average percent. Maybe the holders are going to get 80% of the 7%. So you're looking at, a 5.6% pump there. Yeah, DZ math. All right. Yeah, I could do a little arithmetic. Also targeting 100% of the assets are going to be staked, meaning, it's not going to be a 30-day delay, quarterly delay. All right. It's April 1st. Let's get all the Solana, all the money that's, poured in since this period. Targeting 100% because there are queues. You got to wait in line to go into the discotheque, and you got to wait in line to leave the discotheque. So, they're targeting 100%, and they're going to stake through Helios Labs. Helios is ran by someone, Oxmert. If you've seen someone bull posting on Zcash lately, good chance it was either Oxmert or Naval Ravikant. It's Oxmert. Helios is his company there. So huge in Solana. He literally knows Anatoly. He's calling up, Anatoly, the founder of Solana, on his phone. He's like high up in the Solana ecosystem. And there's going to be 0% fees with a waiver for a limited time. So feel the FOMO, Wall Street. Come on in. The water is warm. Maybe it's because Solana trenchers pissed in the pool, but the water is warm. Come on in. We believe Solana is the key platform for enabling capital markets to come on chain, perfectly positioned for this moment. And now you can get exposure to Solana. So the barbarians. All right. I see you guys out there. The ETFs are live on Robinhood. Love to see that. Most barbarians don't even use an HBAR wallet. Can't even name one. Stevo, that might be a lot of chains, though. I mean, I think a lot of Bitcoiners, quote unquote, they're just using Coinbase. They're using Gemini. They're using Kraken. They also don't have a Bitcoin wallet either. Shout out to Nami. I might have to make some Nami content. They're doing some Bitcoin wallet stuff. But here we go. So let's ask the question. How do we go from a government shutdown? Probably means no ETFs. to all the ETFs coming, break it down. Well, one of the things Bitwise did all the right crossing of the T's and the dotting of the J's. I don't dot my I's. To launch, you needed, this, and this. We're not going to get into the details here. Oh, Form 8A, your filed registration statement. But the fifth one was an exchange has to be willing to certify one of the pieces of paperwork. Well, Eric Balchunas talks about these pieces of paperwork here and says, yes, we do now expect Solana, Litecoin, and HBAR to get their first pure spot ETFs here in the US this week has been reported. Whoa, talk about America first. But honestly, it's not clear that this was meant for ETFs for his non-lawyer brain's eyes. When he goes into further detail here, this is the little bit of a change of some legalese. He missed it. Almost everyone missed it that he's aware of. Took him actually a while to figure it out. But highlighted in green is the old language, and then highlighted in green on the bottom is the new language. That was it. And so this is why these ETFs are, supposedly launching this week. So they did the right things. And remember, SEC has a skeleton crew. So if you go and you fill out, all right, check, fifth box, check, the skeleton crew, all right, there's really nothing to review. It's like, okay, did you get your approval? Check. You got your, rules letter. Yeah, you filed it. You did all the things. Boom. Now we're starting to see the ETFs. Now we're starting to see these 3 ETFs. Now we're going to go into the charts very, very shortly, right after this article. Just kind of want to break it down just a little bit here. Where's Steve-O at? He's missing Isaac. You're not even doing the right ticker, Dreamula. You're good with Link. HBAR, HBAR. That is Gucci Mane's new meme coin. What was his Yellow? He had a good song, Yellow. Who cares about ETFs? It's literally going to do nothing. Let me refute that, Tim Arnold. Let me refute that, and I'm going to tell you why with facts and figures, because we're going to look at Bitcoin as the canary in the coal mine. I was talking to someone, they're like, I like the canary in the coal mine analogy, so I'm going to start using it more. So Solana ETFs may attract $6 billion in the first year as Solana joins the big league. Now remember, $6 billion in buy volume doesn't mean the market cap goes up $6 billion. It pushes the price up enough where you can go up 10x that quite easily. So you can add 60 billion to your market cap with 6 billion in purchases. It depends how liquid you are. It depends how thick the order books are. It depends how aggressively people want to take profits. There's a lot of things. No one knows for sure what the market cap impact will be. It's just a lot of guesswork. But basically, as a heuristic, add a 0. So if you buy 6 billion, you can add 60 billion to the market cap there. So investors, they're closely watching the first Solana staking ETF, a move expected to inject billions into Solana in the broader altcoin market. So far, we got 3. We got Bitwise's Solana. We got Canary's Litecoin, canary in the coal mine, and HBAR ETFs, also from Canary. It's according from Eric Balchunas. Now, the new ETF staking feature introduces roughly probably going to be a 5% passive income for its holders. Again, this is all going to be a little bit of guesswork. No one knows for sure. XRP is tanking XRP. All right, well, we'll check the charts in a second here. Staking means locking your token. If you don't know what staking means, lock your tokens in a proof of stake blockchain for a predetermined period, not always, to secure the network and earn passive income in exchange. Now, yeah, it's not always going to be predetermined period. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just jump in and jump out immediately. Sometimes there is no queue. If you're staking on Cardano, for instance, it's full self-custody. We'll talk about Cardano a little later. But new crypto-based ETFs may propel the underlying altcoins to new all-time highs. For Bitcoin, it's kind of why I'm saying this does matter. ETFs accounted for about 75% of the new investment, of the new dollars purchasing Bitcoin. 75 cents out of every dollar was from Wall Street. And that's when Bitcoin recaptured 50K in February 15th, less than a month after they debuted January 11th. So, and my math, it's more than a month, the 15th to from the 11th, more than a month in my book there, but huge amount. And it did take a little bit of time. We predicted that perfectly. And it wasn't like I had a crystal ball. I didn't have Miss Cleo. I didn't talk to, I didn't talk to Barron Trump. I didn't have the inside info there. We just looked at the gold ETFs. When gold ETFs launched, they dumped. And then gold went on a multi-year bull run. And then it kind of consolidated, and now it's in a new bull run. Bitcoin might be doing the same thing. It initially dumped after BlackRock and everybody else got their ETFs. And then it's just been on a up-only swing since then. with a little bit of, I guess, boring periods here and there. But based on the adoption of Bitcoin and ETH ETFs, JP Morgan predicted a Solana ETF would attract 3 to 6 billion. And now for the XRP holders, XRP would garner 4 to 8 billion in new investments. So this again, according to JP Morgan, they said 3 to 6 bill for Solana, 4 to 8 bill for XRP. Now people are saying XRP's dumping. It better not be a 1% wick to the down. Whoa, okay, that was a little bit of a move. Little bit of a move here, a little bit of a move. XRP is taking a little bit of a dump. People are like, all right, I guess this is people longing XRP off some ETF news, and the longs are going to get wrecked, and the longs are just getting wrecked right now. Ooh, look at that. And we swept a little bit lower. And so, you know, if you just kind of look how I'll say perpetuals operate, if you wick down this quickly to clear this liquidity right here, and so you can see, where's my little thing? That's not what he said. All right. Let's see. I was just looking for my rectangle. I think it's right here. Yeah, rectangle. So if we could sweep this, then you're probably going to sweep the next one. It's not guaranteed, but you're probably going to wick a little bit lower than that. I would say we're gonna hit 260, then bounce. All right. Now, again, no guarantee this is going to play out, but it'll be fun if it does. We're going to say boom and then up, and we'll come back and we'll check in on this. Now, am I going to short it then long it? No, I'm not going to schlong it. I'm not going to, but that's just my prediction. Now let's talk about, speaking of predictions, let's look at Solana. There's 3 charts I want to show you, and I can almost guarantee nobody else is going to show you these charts. You guys are saying Bitcoin is dumping too. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin with some pretty significant 5-minute candles here. We're talking about these moving averages, and on the small time frames, like, hey, yeah, the small time frame moving averages are actually kind of working. Actually did it again. Yeah, you look at the 4-hour. I mean, are we really dumping? Might be. You don't want to see a wick like that. But these are the doji reverse candles. These are the ones you need to worry about. When the wick is equidistant on the top side and the bottom side, that's typically the reverse signal. So what we're looking at right here might just be like this candle. Might be. We don't know. Might be like this candle, or it could be like this one. And yeah, we're gonna see a lot of red candles on the 4-hour. But right now, I mean, it's a significant move to the downside, but nothing major. I blame you guys not hitting the like button. If you did not know, every time you hit the like button, Bitcoin does go up $1. And so, folks, that's kind of on you. That one is kind of on you. Let's see. We got a nice working on liquidating those $100 million longs. Are the whales back? The whales are always back, aren't they? But now let's do these Solana charts. Again, nobody is talking about these 3 Solana charts. I almost guarantee it. First one, you know, we do have this trend line. I mean, yeah, I could see, if we do see a Solana ETF pump, this is weekly candles. We're looking at the 2021 top, and then we kind of had the Trump. No, this is October 23. That's just Solana kind of getting out of the bear market. A lot of people start using it. You can see the Trump pump right here. This is November 2024. So this is just kind of a range that Solana has respected 1, 2, 3, 4 different times. We're talking about a time period of 300 days. I do think it's highly likely, if we do reverse, it's going to be off this move right here. Now, this one people are probably going to be showing you. I don't think I'm the only one going to be talking about this one here. Sometimes the back of this chair makes me feel like I got like higher shoulders. Why is my chair crooked? What is going on with me? Am I sitting sideways like Paul Wall here? All right, let's do the chart number 2. Again, I don't think anybody is talking about any of these charts here. Oh, this is Solana dominance. Ha 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 ha. So this is Solana dominance. This is the dominance chart. This is where I think Solana dominance is going to end. Sorry, I was thinking it was the price one. The price one is going to be this one right here. But if you look at Solana dominance here, looks like Solana might hit about 4% of the entire crypto market. And then that's when I see a little reversal. Now let's talk. All right, so the trend line thing on the top does hold true still. Now, this is the charts nobody's mentioning. This is a parallel channel that you have to look at on logarithmic. You can tell by the prices on the right. But this channel has basically existed for the entirety of Solana's lifespan here. where we hit the peaks of November 2021. And it's almost hard to tell just because the skewed angle of this parallel channel, but we actually wicked a little bit higher here. It's just hard to see on these weekly candles. This is, this is a very, very strong bottom. I think, maybe you could play with it, get a, actually touching the wicks there. Still looks like it holds true on the bodies here. So yeah, I would say, maybe a little slight adjustment. This looks like a good risk reward to me. This looks like a good buy for Solana. If we break this, I don't know how significant the downside move would be. I'm not going to try to make any kind of crazy predictions on a log chart. But this log chart for Solana, not enough people are paying attention to. Chart number 2, we're going to look at the fibs here, and we're going to go to regular. This is some fibs we pulled up a while ago, but the fibs are still kind of working. The fibs are still working. This is just from the swing high of January all the way down to the swing low in March. This is going to be Trump's meme coin launch all the way down to, what felt like a altcoin bear market. So let's go to the daily. Fib level, the next one to pay attention to is going to be the 618. The 618 is above us. So if you're looking for a short-term target for Solana, 220. Okay, 220. You heard it here first. Solana, 220, really good target. The 1618, that's our moon math here. Wall Street's buying Solana. Everyone wants a Solana staking. Solana's back into the zeitgeist here. The 1618 is going to be a $422 Solana, just enough for everybody to, open a high leverage short at 420, wick up a little bit, wreck all those people because they're using 40x. So 220 to 420. These are kind of some of the first levels that we're looking at here. 220 is going to be the first one here. 420 is going to be the one up here. All right, last and third chart here I wanted to share. This one also regular. Let's see. I think we got to go log. Yeah. Okay. So that's that one. It's this one right here. Yeah. It's the short-term one. This one, we got to go back to regular. This is a short-term trading range that, we were talking about months ago, I suppose. Kind of started it in June, hit the bottom there, hit the top in July, hit the bottom in August, hit the top in September. We bounced off the bottom also in September, then rejected directly off this halfway point. See it on the daily. So, I would say hitting the bottom of this range is going to create a little bit of back and forth. It's going to be another battle between the bulls and the bears. And so if it happens immediately, we're close to 220. We're actually already past that. So look at 220 as a potential target, and then check the bottom of this range. I do expect a heightened activity for at least several days as we try to break through, reestablish, use it as support. Those are the 3 Solana charts. I don't think anyone else is going to show you. I just wanted to give you some Solana TA. It's been too long. So maybe you get a $600 Solana at the top. Now, I won't say the 2618 isn't, possible. I think BNB kind of showed us that. The 2618, you're talking about high targets, 620. So we got 220, 420, 620 as just some numbers to pay attention to when it comes to Solana. Let's see. Solana led all alts this cycle. That's fairly accurate. Sol BTC looks identical to ETH BTC last cycle. That might be worth diving into there. HBAR looks so fundamentally juicy. Well, I got to FUD HBAR and give the bulls some hope for HBAR. So barbarians, I'm hitting you with the double-sided sword today, okay? So go ahead, sharpen it on your whetstone, and send your best warrior, because I will take part in some battle with the H barbarians here. Now, almost on cue. Confirmed, this is the news. NASDAQ officially posted the Canary HBAR ETF. It's set to begin trading today. I think chat's already on it. Looks like it's already tradable on Robinhood. Might pull up Robinhood a little bit later. I think we might sell some Apple. We might sell some Apple stock later. I'll tell you why in a little bit. Now, it's going to hold real HBAR in custody, not the fake kind, and BitGo and Coinbase custody. Use CoinDesk indices here, which I believe they use Chainlink for their price index there. So big news for the H barbarians. But what is the deal with HBAR? So you see some things, the barbarians are bullish on IBM. Did you know IBM is on the HBAR governing council? What is going on with this? So this is real. This is a real thing. They really are on it. And they integrated. So IBM integrated the HBAR consensus service into its blockchain platform. All right, this is a long situation that's been happening for years. In crypto terms, this is basically since the Titanic, because IBM joined the HBAR board all the way back in 2019. But what does it mean for IBM to use the HCS? Is this something good? Is this something bullish? Is this maybe kind of in the middle? Well, IBM has a lot of digital asset services here. They just unveiled a digital asset platform. This is breaking news. This is just from yesterday here. Didn't cover it, but I just kind of want to bring it into the broader context here. IBM Digital Asset Haven, they have a whole department of crypto. That makes sense. They have, a lot of monetization. Hell, I used to hold some IBM stock way back in the day. Primarily, they're making a lot of money, profit driven primarily through patents. That's going to be a high profit margin. A lot of their operating revenue is going to be coming from enterprise hardware solutions, big mainframes for big companies, just kind of think of it that way. But then they have a whole division of blockchain technology. And so within this is the digital asset haven, and they're going to offer services, custody, transaction routing, settlement. But they're working with 40 public and private chains. So is IBM working with HBAR? Yes. But are they also working with 39 other chains? Yes. So does that diminish IBM's role on the HBAR governing council? I would say yes, especially given that it happened in 2019. Now, I'm a little bit biased. I feel when you see a crypto partnership and then you don't see anything for 2 years, typically 4 years later, you don't see anything later. You don't see anything 6 years later. You just kind of fizzles away into the sunset. I would point at Polygon and Starbucks as a shining example. But if you go to IBM, oh man, they talk about oracles. Oracle is a broad term in the industry. There are many blockchain Oracle protocols to choose from. Default option is Chainlink, which has adoption across several L1s. Now, is HBAR's HSC, the Hedera service, make sure I say the name all correctly here, consensus service, the Hedera consensus service, is that an Oracle? It's not really an Oracle. I did a little bit of research. Oracles primarily deal with off-chain data, bringing it on-chain. The HSC or HCS, they're primarily doing all stuff on-chain. So yes and no. Will Chainlink probably have a bigger partnership with IBM? I'm sure they will. But at the end of the day, good news for HBAR, good news for Litecoin, and good news for Solana, of course. Now, I am interested. What the heck is Litecoin doing? Is Litecoin even experiencing any joy? It's down. It's down. It's down, 5% for the month. It's down 0.5%. So, oh yeah, they were in the green, and that's probably off the news right there. And now it's down, fairly almost about 10% from 106 and change to about $98 there. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a dump there. Going back to Bitcoin, Bitcoin looks fine. Did say we wanted to check in on XRP. Remember, we're doing predictions here. What time? Okay. So it bounced sooner. We did sweep this. We haven't swept this. So it wicked a little bit lower. I still think we got to sweep this, chat. I don't know. I think we're sweeping that. Now, of course, no one knows for sure, but I that's my guess. That's my guess there. All right, now let's talk about altcoins. So altcoins doing great. Solana, HBAR, Litecoin, all this great news. Well, Elio, interesting chart. This keeps me awake at night. I don't know how true that is. He's like, all season. Is that really happening, Elio? Is that where it's really happening? Or is it more like, I didn't rug super farm? Okay, that was too much. All right. This keeps me awake at night. They're still building. If this trend line extends into 2025, 2026, we should see the biggest alt season of all time. Okay. Whoa. All right. This is altcoins versus Bitcoin. It's not technically correct. It's others versus Bitcoin. Others priced in Bitcoin. Others is going to be all coins outside of the top 10. So it's not all altcoins. We're removing ETH. We're removing Solana. We're removing XRP. We're removing Tether. We're removing Circle. So it's everything outside of the top 10. You can see the other altcoins besides those pumped hard against Bitcoin in 2017, pumped hard against Bitcoin in 2021. In 2025, we've yet to see anything. He says, see the potential for the biggest liquidity rotation of all time. I had to weigh in. We don't trust, we verify. So I want to look at some of these charts. Elio seems like a good guy. I've talked to him a couple times. We almost did something together in 2021. I don't know if I've ever told this story on stream, but he thought all right, so Jay-Z used to have a business partner. Trust me, this is all coming together. Jay-Z used to have a business partner. His name is Damon Dash. Damon Dash held some rights to Jay-Z's early music. He had a very seminal freshman album. It was called Life. Oh God, what is it? Reasonable Doubt. I think it was called Reasonable Doubt. And he had like the masters. And he was trying to do all this like NFT tokenization with Jay-Z's music. And Jay-Z didn't want him to do it. And Damon Dash is like trying to talk all these crypto guys. Elio thought he was going to be the guy that did it. And I don't even know if he's like, yeah, I'm talking to Damon and, we're real close. I think the legal action by Jay-Z ended up putting the kibosh on the whole thing there. So interesting. Yeah, we were talking to him about that and maybe but I remember I had the meeting and I looked at my business partner. We were just like, I don't know about that, man. All right, but will alt season happen later than most expect? Because you look at this, you're like, guys, it's happening tomorrow. It's happening right now, okay? All right, if you check your portfolio, it happened in the last 5 seconds. That's the vibe I get when I look at this chart. But it might happen later than most are expecting. Last cycle, Bitcoin printed 2 golden crosses, with the second cross finally kicking off alt season. Now you see a golden cross right there. Mini alt rally. This is like chain links pumping. This is the summer DeFi 2020 stuff. Then we got a death cross. You can see it right there. Then we got the golden cross that created alt season. And if you look right here, we almost got something similar. We got this like early catalyst. That's the Trump pump giving us a golden cross super early. And then we got a bear cross, kind of like what we're almost seeing here. Then we got a second golden cross. Now we might see a third golden cross. Looks like we're going to see, it's a little bit hard to see that red line, but it looks like that green line about a dip below the red line, unless altcoins outside of the top 10 really, really start to take off. But I think after the death cross, we're going to get that golden cross. And then that's when we might see a golden cross move. Now I measured this. This was a lot of days. Right here was like 450 days from that golden cross to that death cross. This right here was a lot less. I want to say it was like around 100 days. So it might happen a lot later than a lot of people are expecting here. So just as everyone FOMOed into alts around October 2020, Bitcoin dominance blasted higher. That's when Bitcoin would go into his parabolic rally into 20K. And then others printed the death cross. Only after that happened, it wrecked all the altcoin holders. Only after that happened did we end up getting the alt season. So Bitcoin had to have like, not only did it have to hit all-time high, it had to go parabolic. It had to hit that parabolic, the parabola, as Ivan likes to say. And then that's when we started to see alt season. Now let's talk a little Bitcoin here. We got some very, very crazy stuff. I still got to talk about, we got a little bit on Cardano, but we might sell some Apple stock. So I want to tell you why I'm going to sell my Apple stock. But Bitcoin ETH treasuries have ghosted since the crypto crash 10-11. They have tightened their purse strings after the 10th market crash, with one exception, says Coinbase's executive here. These digital asset treasury companies, they've largely ghosted since the post-October 10th drawdown, and they've yet to re-engage. Over the last 2 weeks, Bitcoin buying by these digital asset treasuries have fallen near to year-to-date lows and have not meaningfully recovered even on the green days. But Bitmine still buying, Bitmine still going crazy. I said the ETH treasury company has been the only consistent buyer since the market dropped. And it looks like they spent almost $2 billion since the crash. And they bought almost 500,000 ETH. They're not the only one. We haven't forgot about MicroStrategy. They bought more on Monday. Also, they just got a B- rating, citing high Bitcoin concentration and currency mismatch with the debt in dollars, but reserves in Bitcoin. First ever rating by Bitcoin treasury company. Is this good news? Is this bad news? Is the B- good? Is the B- bad? It's a little bit of both. First thing, the good side, some have likened this to, it's like a PSAT, and they give you a grade and they give you an assessment that gives you all the right answers to the SAT. And so they're saying if they do these things, maybe we're going to see a higher rating. Other side is like, yeah, it's ass. And if you look at it compared to Bitcoin, the price reflects that. But now, speaking of Bitcoin, let's go hard on F2 pull. And we got to talk about this guy. This guy right here. Oh man, is this the same family member? No, it's spam. Thank you, Coinbase, for giving out my info months ago. F2 Pull co-founder refuses a Bitcoin improvement proposal for a Bitcoin soft fork, says it's a bad idea. So the main vector for Bitcoin is centralized. F2 Pull co-founder saying, yeah, well, we're not gonna do this, but don't worry, we're decentralized. So F2 Pull co-founder Chun Wang, you may have heard this guy, and I'll tell you why in a second. He criticized the soft fork, seeking to curb arbitrary on-chain data as a bad idea that he will not support. So this is a soft fork aimed at limiting data spam on the Bitcoin network. Now, I could do a whole episode on the impacts of this, what this means for Bitcoin, and how it's kind of being used by bad actors to put, you don't have to have much of an imagination. They're putting bad pictures on the Bitcoin blockchain, just the same, I don't want to say it's the exact same way, but you can put an ordinal on a bit or a sat. You embed JPEG data. Maybe the file's a little different, but you're basically embedding image file on the Bitcoin network. Some people are they're doing some bad images, and some people want to stop that. He said, nah, I don't really have any intention on stopping that. I feel sad that some devs are moving further and further in the wrong direction, is what he's saying here. Now, what does it do? It would close most of the data embedding paths on Bitcoin, and it would put a stricter size caps on outputs and pushes. Basically, it would make any kind of, you did want to do a picture, it's gonna look crappy, where it wouldn't even be a issue. It'd be like an Etch-a-Sketch or something. It'd be like, not even talking about like Leo's drawing on the Titanic, where like a 5-year-old making an Etch-a-Sketch and be like, it's a boob. That's you don't really have to worry about it at that point. Now, it will limit NFT creation, complex scripts, and keep the money aspect, the money transmitting aspect of it, basically unaffected here. So it would this is allowing malicious actors to mine a single transaction with illegal or bad abhorrent content, incredibly claim Bitcoin itself is the system for distributing it. Peter Todd said it's going to be ineffective and achieving his goal. He said he demonstrated this by embedding the entire text in a Bitcoin transaction with something that would still be compliant with the soft fork. So he's like, even if you do the soft fork, the images are still going to be there. It's not really going to solve anything there. So it's definitely a huge attack vector. Now, if you don't know who Chun Wang is, he actually flew with SpaceX, the flight. Do you guys remember Bitcoin billionaire goes to space? It was about a year or two ago. So the Bitcoin billionaire who went to space was this guy, Chun Wang. He made history as the first human to purchase a command a space mission exploring Earth's poles. He mined Bitcoin when it was $1 and founded the first Bitcoin mining pool in China. Still one of the largest to this day. It's a lot richer than you are aware of. No one knows how much Bitcoin this guy has. Can he just send me one? Let's all take a little sip, everybody. I'm a little thirsty here. All right. Reading some of these. Why does he think that would be a bad idea? I guess I kind of answered it because you could still upload the images. It's like not really doing too much. Remember, it said it's like limiting some of the methods of doing it. If you're really smart, you could still find a way to embed some images on a Bitcoin. Might just be a little bit harder there. Sold a little gold and silver to invest. All right. Well, maybe we'll point you in the right direction. Maybe you should do what France does. France considering a bill to acquire 2% of Bitcoin's total supply and create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, of course, it's going to be 420,000 Bitcoin. That is 2%. Did they choose that number on purpose? I'm not sure. You always got to question this. There's like a lot of rumors on X today. Not a lot of substance. HBAR, IBM, no one's buying Bitcoin, no digital asset trade. Well, yeah, they are. So what's the truth here? Well, it is a real thing. It's not Brigitte Macron doing it, if that's what you were wondering. This is by Eric Ciotti. I don't know how you say his last name. Ciotti. President of the UDR. Now, I went into this, I looked at it, what's their power? They have a majority. Is this a small political party here? Well, it's Union for the Right of the Republic. They are known as a conservative base here. They're actually, it's beyond that. They're listed as far right. It's the far right political party in France. That ended up getting me a little bit more interested. I was like, what makes them far right? And their slogan was France for the French, and they don't want non-European immigration. And so, they are labeled. So it is a smaller party, not a super powerful party. They are within a more popular bloc, Marie Le Pen's Conservative Party, but a lot of European countries, they have like 87, 20, 12 different political parties. They end up forming like loose alliances. This isn't probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. Big fat no. It sounds good. It sounds cool, but when you start digging into it, Union of the Right for the Republic just doesn't have enough juice. They don't have enough juice to use their nuclear juice to end up, creating some Bitcoin mining or any kind of strategic reserve there. Now, this is an interesting thought here. Oh, I actually got some on Groipedia. I got something on Groipedia there. Now, I would be interested. How does Groipedia describe a Union of the Right in France there? World Liberty Fi just burnt some tokens. It's part of their plan. When they did do that plan, I think the token pumped like 1 or 2%. It doesn't matter. Macron is married to someone that likes, at least in her early 40s, she was into teenagers. I mean, if a guy does it, no one actually, they do give Leo DiCaprio a lot of criticism. I was going to say no one criticizes a guy, but they criticize both. Yeah, they're creeps. They're all creeps. Here's a good question though. Is Bitcoin too expensive for retail, and is it threatening to end the bull market cycle? I do like this question. At what price point is Bitcoin too expensive for retail to buy? I want you guys to give me a number. I should not have brought up Macron. I should have just stuck with the Union of the Far Right. I don't know why I brought it up. I don't even know why I said Brigitte. You know why? I just want to make you guys chuckle a little bit. But what point is Bitcoin too expensive? I'm going to put in my own number here. I do think Bitcoin, I think retail can get behind $100,000 Bitcoin. I think, the narrative of $1 million, you still have a 10x. But I think at, 700K, they don't have any interest in something that they think is going to $1 million. Now, if they think it's going to 10 million, sure, maybe then. But at $1 million, target, 700K Bitcoin is not exciting. I would say 100K is doable. But I'm going to go ahead and say a number right here. I think, I'm typing it in, I think at $198,000, basically on the cusp of 200K, around 200, 250. I think retail is going to say, no, that Bitcoin is too expensive. 500K. I don't know if they want to buy 420. It's like, well, what's next? $1 million is going to double. We know you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. We know we value things in Satoshis, but what does retail think? I don't think retail thinks of Bitcoin. I was actually almost coming up with that number when I was, kind of doing this as a thought experiment. I was actually wondering 80 was my number. I was like, is 80K too high? Because then it's like, well, if it only goes to 100, I'm not going to make a lot of money. So, it is a good question. What point? Bybit can always just buy IBIT, which you do have lower prices there. So I had to explain the price of Bitcoin to my retail buddy. He understands. People are going to want a fraction of $1 million coin, man. That's just what it boils down to. That's why they talk about the idiot trade, XRP, Cardano, Doge. If you look at the top 10 coins that are like under $1 or under $10, it's like retail would rather buy 330 something of a $3 coin than they'd rather buy one $1,000 coin. So say BNB is 1,000, XRP is $3. You could say, hey, man, CZ is the richest guy in crypto. BNB is building. They're aligned with Trump. He's getting pardoned. BNB is the buy. Don't buy XRP. They're going to be like, yeah, but I'd rather have 300 tokens than one token. Everybody's going to be thinking that way when it comes to retail. You just have to understand that. Now, let's talk about some of these prediction markets. CZ wants to destroy Poly Market. He's launching a new prediction market, Opinion Labs. It's backed by their formerly known as Binance Labs, also known as CZ's family office, also known as the company that won't pump Hemi. They're backed by YZ Labs with $5 million in funding, but they just started week 0. It's not open for everybody. They got a leaderboard. They're giving away 100,000 points every week. Has macro trading, Fed rate predictions, economic markets, ETH go all-time high. I don't know anything about this code. I don't know if this code is still good. I literally just messaged them right before we went live. I was like, hey guys, look, we got a channel. I want to talk about this. I want to use your product and I want to give away some referrals to our audience there. So I messaged them. I will let you know if they give me back some referrals, but if you can get your hands on one, farm some points, you're probably going to get a good payday there. This is interesting. I just want to bring it up. You guys talked me out of Zcash, top blasting yesterday. I bought Bitcoin instead. Obviously, we never feel bad buying Bitcoin. But if you look, Zcash and Monero are lower than when they were when Bitcoin was $14,000. So when Bitcoin was 14K and ETH was under 1,000, Zcash and Monero are still higher than what they are today. Zcash, I would be willing to bet that the market cap, the market cap's much higher today. Zcash does, they just had their second halving. And so there's still is decent output, has the same tokenomics as Bitcoin. That means they had their second halving there at 12.5 per block, 12 Zcash mine per block there. Every 10 minutes, there's 12 Zcash. The market cap, I want to say, is around 5 billion now. And Monero, I haven't looked at Monero, but yeah, Monero was $355. So Monero was a $5.5 billion market cap. Monero today, 5.5 billion, all the way down to, drum roll please, it's up. 355, it's 337. They've had a little bit of token dilution, nothing crazy there. So it's nothing I would say be too worried about, folks, there. So if you are holding it, this is one of the reasons why people do expect it to pump. There's like people that are still down bad from early. All right, let's talk about a little ADA here. Can we look at XCN maybe at the end here? Might check it out there. Bitcoin Cash is next. Bitcoin Cash pumps, that's when it's over, folks. The music is starting to wind down. It's like a 70s, 80s rock song. Back then they didn't know how to end a song. They like literally don't know what to do. They're like, I'm still playing. They just, the sound engineer would just do this. I guess this direction. This is what, and then the song would just taper away, and you'd be like, wait a minute, he's still singing. Be like, yeah, it's over. So that's basically where we're at. The music stops playing when Bitcoin Cash starts pumping. But or when Cardano pumps. Midnight Tokenomics just got released. We did a video on Glacier Drop, did like 2 videos on that. Hopefully, if you're one of those 7 blockchains, part of the airdrop, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Brave, BAT, you got part of that 15%. And right now they're about to do the scavenger mine. So if you want to mine it, you can still claim that 2.6% there. And the foundation's taking 35%. So a lot of eyes are going to be on that foundation. It's a pretty fat bag there. Now, if you're a Cardano stan, you should be happy. We might get an extended cycle, potentially. Leos, going to be a huge upgrade, starting to roll out. Hydra Heads, it's kind of like a side chain. It can do 1 million transactions per second. It's going to start getting implemented. Knight's going to launch. Snake will be on Binance. Iagon is going to be listed in multiple tier 1s. The Worth pilot underway. Strike Cardano is going to be the perpetuals, the Aster of Cardano. We interviewed the founder there. Cardano, let's say the maxis, they're like, why are you talking to that guy? Like, because he has like the hottest project in Cardano, and it's like the token's, going to pump. Yeah, but I don't like the language he uses. I'm like, well, okay. What is he saying? They're like, yeah, he's like saying Cardano, we're going to pump the volume. I'm like, he sounds like everybody in Solana. How is that a bad thing? He's trying to pump Cardano. So Strike's V2 is going to be up. FlexPoint Studio, they have the Talos bot. It's like the main AI play. Their main AI agent's going to be upgraded. Stablecoin Infusion, it looks like 50 million. Indigo, shout out to Indy. Their Chakra agents are going to be live. There's going to be like DeFi AI agents that they've been working on for a long time. And Masumi is going to bring in more transactions here. So the market sometimes rewards the patient. Please keep stacking. So Cardano Bulls, here's your little Cardano Hopium. Circle is doing an ARC testnet. This is the CBDC in sheep's clothing here. This is basically going to have all the features of a CBDC, just not going to be shut down by the government. It's just going to be shut down by somebody who is one phone call away from the government. They're like, hey, can you shut down that wallet? Yes, sir. That's so, not technically a CBDC, but yeah, they're working with BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, Visa, MasterCard, basically everybody. Let's see, it's going to have issuers 7 countries there. So this is kind of like a global CBDC that's going to be labeled as a private stable coin. But when you're, what was the one, State Street? I mean, that's, you do not work with State Street unless you're very well affiliated with State Department. There's no coincidence there. Why you tell me about the Feastables? Now I'm eating them every day, crapping yourself there. So yeah, don't eat too much chocolate, okay? I mentioned that Costco has the Feastables. We end up buying some, and yeah, we ate every single peanut butter cup, 100% of them, and we're going through the crunches. The kids are only going to have the crappy milk chocolate left, but you know what? They need to be happy, and they just want to do a little Fortnite dance with their little Feastable there. Let's see here. Oh wait, yeah, Feastables. I mean, is it poison? Too much candy's got to be bad for you, right? They're supposed to be better, but I don't know. More ADA projects based on great tech that no one will use. That's true. That's true. Shady my 30 ETH don't qualify because he's staked on Exodus. That's an Exodus issue. Exodus qualified. That's the issue there, John. Now, did Exodus claim the night? I'd be upset if they did and they didn't share it with me. Now, maybe they just didn't claim it just because they had some guy who just didn't like Cardano. But I think on Discord, Midnight Official wanted me to enter him a seed phrase to help him claim. Oh yeah, you always got to love the Discord. Come here and I'll trade. Let's trade your mutant ape off OpenSea. Be like, well, no. Now ARK, who's the winner? Governments and Chainlink. We're excited now as Chainlink has been selected as the core ecosystem partner of ARK, the new blockchain by Circle. So Chainlink, great news for Chainlink. And is the price down today? Probably. Why? Because it's freaking good news in the crypto. Hey, it's up. It's up. It's almost totally erased everything in the last hour, but it is up, folks. It is up. So good news. Good news for the Link Marines there. But this is a stable coin that's basically a CBDC. All right, now Groipedia is out. Let's see, version 0.1. It said 1.0 will be 10x better. Go search for your favorite topics. Really good start, in my opinion. Almost equal to Wikipedia already. This would be obviously better than Wikipedia within a year. I would assume that's going to be true. Normally don't do well fading an Elon Musk company. I think he's involved with, is it literally 7 of the 10 most expensive private companies? I think he's had a hand in 7 of the top 10 most successful private companies. Now, of course, they do include OpenAI because of his OpenAI is number 1. SpaceX is number 2. So, I mean, he's already number 1 and number 2 right there. Why not just be honest and state Groipedia will be the right-leaning counter to Wikipedia instead of pretending it will be completely unbiased and free of inaccuracies? Now, someone said, can you show us? Show us the sunlight. What do you example? Here he said Trump. Should we build a whole GPTpedia with all the examples? Now they say the Trump Groipedia has subtle bias, mainly by mitigating criticism or offering justifications for controversies here. I haven't read it myself. This is the layout. So I'm gonna read this after the stream. Oh my God, I didn't scroll it. I don't know if you got, yeah, you can see how little the freaking scroll wheel on the right. Oh my God, maybe I won't read this. I'm gonna read this after I eat some dairy or Mexican. What the heck? Okay, I didn't know I was doing a collegiate doctorate essay here. What the? All right, the guy didn't read all this. There's no way the guy read all that. That's a lot. What? 523 sources. Chat, yes or no? Did he read the Trump article? Did he read it? Bankruptcy critics, maybe he did, including some creditors who recovered partial losses, have portrayed the leverage often exceeding as reckless, with such high gear aligned with real estate casino industry norms. Trump's strategy emphasized limited personal exposure. Now maybe I'm wrong, but that particular segment did not seem biased. They're saying it minimizes the negativity by referencing industry norms and providing the example of a peer, which is going to be a certain type of persuasion. I'm drawing a blank on it. Like the 4 out of 5 doctors recommend this toothpaste persuasion. Or you could say it is industry leader persuasion. You're like, oh, Michael Jordan likes this. So Merv Griffin, framing his actions as common and strategic. I mean, but is it not common in strategic? I don't know, folks. We're gonna get a whole sideline if we're like, is Groipedia woke? Is it based? I want my encyclopedia to be based. Can we just have facts? I what the somewhere there's an Encyclopedia Britannica grandson who's just like furious, who's just like, when someone looks up sea slugs, I just want them to see the facts on sea slugs, but I guess that's just not possible in 2025. It's not a pass, it's an essay. Essay? At first I thought you were saying like, hey, essay. AI summarized, probably. No, he didn't read it. No, he didn't read it. Most people thinking no here. Is Frankie in there? Let me know. What other YouTube channels do you guys watch? I do have a decent commute most days. Sometimes I work from home. There's like only one person who does make content before us, and so I'll watch a little Ivan. And I watch Heresy Financial because he's really good when it comes to what does the reverse repo actually mean? What is Fed cutting rates? What is gold and silver's impact on central bank balance sheets? He's like very, very good. Heresy Financial. We love the Sin City crew there. Love them. And I still watch Face and Cowan, decent amount there. You get a 10-minute lecture on climate change, about 1 minute of sea slug info. That's 2025 in a nutshell right there. Sin City covers the normie coins. Well, we should all be covering the normie coins, but let's talk about the normie, let's just say canary in the coal mine, just to bring it back. Nancy Pelosi trades. This is what a lot of, when you ask your average person, what do you know about investing? They don't know Bitcoin has 21 million. They don't know about fiat. They don't know about government's monopoly on violence. They don't know about central bank balance sheets, asset diversification. They don't know any of this stuff. But one of the first things they will know, they think they know, they were like, oh, well, I know the politicians trade off inside info. That's kind of something everybody knows. Well, guess what? Nancy Pelosi, inside trading alert, her first trade since June, July, August, September, October. We're looking, we're about to be in November. We're almost about a half year. She dumped $250,000 of Apple shares. Now, chat, should I sell? I don't have a lot of Apple here. I diversified out of it into Palantir and Tesla. I couldn't get rid of the last couple. What stock? Give me tickers. What stock should I sell Apple and buy instead? I'm literally going to sell this today. Is it dumb to copy trade? Usually. Is it dumb to copy trade Nancy Pelosi? I don't think so, folks. I don't think so. Not in my opinion there. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Dan Crenshaw gets a little too much credit. He just bet well on NVIDIA, so it makes his portfolio look good. But let's see. So people want me to get the surveillance state, Peter Thiel's Palantir. All right, the all-seeing orb from CS or from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings universe there. TSM. All right. COP. All right. Applied Digital. Team is going to pump hard. I feel like I'm getting a lot of smaller. I want some, give me some more Mag 7 stuff, folks. Let's see. BYND. Hut. I don't mind ClearSpark. Okay. Circle. I don't hate Circle. Waiting for Kraken IPO. Let's see. We got AI inside plays here. So, all right. I'm selling Apple. I'll sell Apple. I'll tell you guys tomorrow, or maybe I'll tweet it out. Now, we talked about this yesterday. Is Trump Satoshi? It was not on call sheet. Polymarket CEO watches the stream. That's what I'm going to assume here, because 4 p.m., mere a few hours after our stream, Polymarket, the Mad Lads did it. They literally have this Trump confirmed to be Satoshi, and the odds are, drum roll, please, 1%. So you could bet $1,000 and get $10 probably. Presumably, was it 9? You'll get $9. Yeah. So you'll. Hey, is Trump Satoshi? Maybe you have insight. Maybe you know Barron. Barron's like, no, man, my dad is Satoshi. Okay, my dad's 100% Satoshi. You could go bet on that. They actually added it. I did want to mention Crypto.com partnering with Truth Social prediction. We kind of mentioned that earlier. It's going to be called Truth Predict. It's going to let users bet on elections, interest rate changes, sports using crypto there. It's going to compete with Polymarket and Kalshi by combining, basically Polymarket or prediction markets with a little social media platform there. And Devin Nunes says he wants to give users tools that turn free speech into actionable foresight. That is a little bit wordy, but that's not a terrible. I like it. It's terrible. That looks like the pose from sticking out the McDonald's window, but I guess this is Air Force One, given the low ceiling and the wall right there. I believe that's Air Force One. So that's coming. Crypto.com got a little bit of a pump. Lawmakers, they want to stop Trump from trying to pump his own bags, that is. Should I give up on ADA and sell my deep bag into Solana and Link? I don't hate ADA into Link. ADA Sol, there is a chart you need to pay attention to. And that's the ADA Sol USD chart. Weekly. Yeah. No, I'm not upgrading. This goes, it's because we're on log, or no, we need to be on log. That's what it is. Yeah, this is ADA and Solana. Guessing this is the November pump right there. Man, it's just like not a direction. Because like last time it did this exact move, it pumped to the top of the range. So a lot of people think it's for sure going to go out of this range. There's a lot of people for sure think it's going to revisit the bottom of this range. This is ADA priced in Solana. I'm not getting a clear direction, man. If I'm going to be honest, God, we don't get much on the RSI either. But when you shrink the time frame, this does look bullish for ADA. Now, I am biased, but I'm literally just going off the chart here. I'm trying to not inject any of my biases here. I'm just trying to use a little TA. I mean, this is a very clear bullish divergence that would point to bullishness on ADA. So it does look like ADA is currently oversold, but Solana just got its ETF. So, I mean, this could stay oversold for a long time. Like this can continue to before it then finally pumps and maybe rejects off the top of the range. I'm still holding my ADA. I'm still staking my ADA. So if you do want to stake your ADA, go to DZ Pool, everybody. So, big shout out to, just the Cardano, the staking operations, the way that it works. So if you want to stake, we got millions of ADA staked in there. We just crushed the last block, and we're going to be a midnight validator. You're going to earn a little night if you do stake your ADA. So I do appreciate it if you do want to stake the ADA with me there. But yeah, we got someone trying to stop Trump. They want to stop Trump from the Trump pump. All right, so lawmakers looking to ban Trump, his family, and members of Congress from trading crypto as stocks. All right, this is where you have me. If they just stop right there, all politicians and their immediate family, you cannot trade. Can't trade crypto. You can't trade stocks. This is from Ro Khanna, California Democrat. And he's raising concerns about Trump's apparent conflict of interest with his son's crypto project, where LibertyFi, you could throw out American Bitcoin as well, alleging the recent pardoning of CZ was blatant corruption. Now, here's Khanna's quote. You got a foreign billionaire who is basically engaged in money laundering. Then he petitions for a pardon from Trump after basically funneling money to terrorists. Now, should CZ, yes or no, should CZ sue Ro Khanna for this? Yes. Yes is my opinion. I mean, I don't know if I don't know the exact legalese, or like if you say basically, can you wiggle out of, let's just say, slander? I'm not sure. I am not sure. He might be able to lawyerly, weaselly get his way out of this by saying, he basically funneled money to terrorists. He basically engaged in money laundering. If you don't know, CZ pled guilty to a single felony count of violating the U.S. Bank Secrecy Act after he didn't have an effective anti-money laundering program at Binance. It's just a bad way of saying an effective know your customer program at Binance. He allowed U.S. customers to continue to trade before he got all the necessary licenses, before they launched Binance US. When they did get all the licenses, they operated under a separate entity to kind of separate any issues with Binance violating U.S. law. And then Binance US can say, we're the ones that followed all the laws. There's no intermingling here. So it was like basically he didn't ask you for your license soon enough. So I don't know if he should sue. Now, Khanna did not go into specifics, but he did not mince his word calling for a ban. This is where he loses me. He wants a ban for any elected official from holding crypto. And this is where it has me. Yeah, accepting foreign money. Yeah, we should definitely take out, you should not be able to get foreign money. Now, there's questions of dual citizenship based super funds and super PACs and political organizations. I mean, I think there's one country, probably a lot of people are probably thinking about when they think of dual citizenship, but it doesn't just end there. I mean, even Mamdani has dual citizenship. Mamdani, he's a Ugandan Muslim. He's going to be elected in New York, and so that kind of just shows how progressive New York is and how colorblind I would say New York is. But yeah, I think any foreign money, period, is bad. We do need to take away some of the loopholes of dual citizenship, but stopping officials from holding Bitcoin is totally ridiculous. What's next? You can't have a gold ring. Like, is that where you're gonna where do we draw the line on you cannot hold an equity? Something like Bitcoin, something like gold. Totally ridiculous here. Now, to provide context on how muddled the waters are, Ro Khanna has called out Trump's ties to crypto, but he has some of his own vested interests in the stock market, highlighting a little hypocrisy here. According to Quiver Quant, I haven't checked this myself, he has ratcheted up $80 million in stock trading volume this year alone. Since becoming a California representative in 2017, he's made 35,000 trades, $600 million in total volume. And what is he betting on? He's trading financials, information technology, and healthcare. Three things that the government has a giant hand in, three things that can provide him massive amounts of inside information, and three things that he's able to use his inside information to trade. And trading is a PvP thing. Okay. This is not you against shadowy bank. He's trading against you. He's trading against pension funds. He's trading against your grandma's retirement account. And for there to be a winner in the stock market, there has to be a loser. You know who's losing? Grandma's retirement. And so it's a little bit of hypocrisy there. Did want to share that. Pot calling the kettle black. I would say that is for sure there. Now let's check in on Bitcoin real quick because we had some major movement. We had major movement at the start of the show. Oh, it was like the weekly. Okay, whoa. Zooming in, it's chopping up and down. And XRP probably, if Bitcoin's doing this well, I don't think XRP swept that low yet. But I'm not saying it won't. I'm not saying it won't, folks. All right. If I was president, I allow insider trading to pay off the nation. So we just, hey, Nancy, it's like a VIG, like a mobster when you loan money. All right, well, Nancy, you're giving us 50% of your profits every week there. I'd hire Laserface, Crypto Face. Yeah, love some. I'd hire Crypto Face. I would give them access to government coffers there, some amount. We're not going to go crazy and give them $1 trillion there. You shouldn't be able to trade when you can influence what the market does. 100%. Who could be abusing dual? I mean, all of them. I don't know. Bernie Sanders. I don't know. When you can control, let's see. Let them inside trade. Hold. Bald Shia LaBeouf is my favorite. Chat, if you do like the DZ streams, smash that like button. But make sure you check out Drew's stream a little bit later. And tomorrow we got a major day. It's going to be FOMC. We're going to stream. Of course, we got to do the Chur Powell. We got to do Jerome Powell's comments there. Are we going to get the 25 basis point cut there? All right, let's see. Democrats 10x their net worth. Every single president has increased their net worth in recent memory, recent modern times, except for one. Of course, that is going to be Trump. But yeah, I mean, George Bush, senior and junior, they increase their wealth substantially, especially if you look into what the Carlyle Group is investing in, Halliburton, the rebuilding, and that's a whole nother situation there. And yeah, big W's for the basement. You for president there. All right, everybody, smash the like button on the way out. We got probably going to talk about HBAR and Litecoin in tonight's video. So if you're an HBARbarian, make sure you turn on the notifications. Make sure you're following the channel there. But you got to have on notifications if you want to see when we're putting out these videos. We've been giving out alpha. I mean, look at what happened with Chainlink. You see all the partnerships. So shout out to all the Link Marines who watched that yesterday. And folks, I will see you guys in the future. And we'll end with a little hot bean juice sip. Here we go.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.